Hello, this is Mr. Wright. I'm just going to go through your study guide with you, and you're going to watch it, and you're going to like it. Here we go. A political party. A political party is an organization that coordinates candidates to compete in a country's elections. Jurisdiction. The authority of a court to hear a case. Major parties. Political party that holds substantial influence in a country's politics. Partisanship. Prejudice in favor of a particular cause or bias. Party in power. Political party that has a close relationship with the executive branch of government. Minor party. A political party that plays a smaller role than a major party. Two-party system. A party system in which two major political parties consistently dominate the political landscape. Bipartisan. Agreement or cooperation between two political parties that usually opposes each other's policies. Incumbent. A current holder of an office or position. Electorate. All the people in a country or area who are entitled to vote in an election. Split ticket voting. Voter in an election for candidates from different political parties when multiple offices are being decided by a single election. Interest group. A group of people that seeks to influence public policy on the basis of a particular common interest or concern. Lobbying. Seek to influence a politician on an issue. Gerrymander. Manipulates the boundaries so as to favor one party or class. Constituency. A body of voters in which a specified area who elect a representative to a legislative body. Partisan. A strong supporter of a party, cause, or person. Expressed powers are specifically granted to the federal government in Article 1, Section 8 of the Constitution. Implied powers. Political powers granted to the United States government that aren't explicitly stated in the Constitution. Inherent powers, not explicitly stated in the Constitution, that allows the government to take action. Necessary and proper clause, to make all laws which shall be necessary and proper for carrying into execution the foregoing powers. Speaker of the House. The Speaker of the House is responsible for administering the oath of office to the members of the U.S. House of Representatives. President of the Senate, the Vice President. President pro tem, a constitutionally recognized officer of the Senate who presides over the chamber in the absence of the Vice President. Bill, a proposed law. Filibuster, informal term for any attempt to block or delay Senate action on a bill or other matter. Number 1, what is the major function of a political party? To win control of the government. Number 2, describe the 4 types of political parties, or of minor parties: ideological, splinter, single issue, economic protest. Number 3, historically, minor parties have been most important as a spoiler and an innovator. Explain both the roles. Spoiler is when a minor party takes away votes from one of the major parties and possibly flips an election. Innovator, they adopt bold policies that major parties might take later. 4, why is the party in power more cohesive than the opposition party? The party in power controls the presidency and therefore has a firm leader at the top. The opposition party has no firm leader. Number 5, how many seats are in the House of Representatives? 435. 6, how old do you have to be a member of the House of Representatives? 25. How long is a term for a member of the House of Representatives? 2 years. 8, how is it decided on how many representatives each state receives? That's based on population. Number 9, how many seats are in the Senate? 100. Number 10, how old do you have to be a member of the Senate? 30. How long is a term for a member of the Senate? 6 years. 12, who breaks the tie if there's a tie in voting in the Senate? Vice President. 13, of the 2 houses, which is seen as the more thoughtful, grounded, and responsible? Why? The Senate, older members with longer terms so they aren't as subject to the whims of their constituents. 14, what are the 3 jobs of all congressional members? They represent constituents, they legislate, and they serve on committees. Number 15, all congressional members serve on committees. What do these committees do? They review bills and kill them, edit them, or allow them to be voted on in Congress. Committees also may investigate matters that are within their wheelhouses. 16. Describe the expressed powers of Congress, those powers specifically mentioned in the Constitution. Examples: they can levy taxes, build and maintain a navy, approve federal judges, coin money. 17. Describe the implied powers of Congress, those powers that are not mentioned in the Constitution but can be reasonably deduced from the text. Examples: build and maintain an air force, Congress can purchase land, etc. In what ways does the Constitution limit the powers of Congress? President can veto laws. Everything not mentioned in the Constitution becomes a state power. Example: schools. Supreme Court can declare laws unconstitutional. The people can vote members out after their terms if they aren't performing well. 19. What powers does Congress have in the areas of foreign policy and defense? They can declare war. They can approve or reject treaties. They fund the military. They can veto the presidential appointees for ambassadors. Number 20. What body of Congress votes on impeachment? The House of Representatives. Remember, impeachment is the accusation, not the trial. For example, Donald Trump and Bill Clinton were impeached but found not guilty and therefore got to stay in office. 21. What body of Congress votes to acquit or convict in an impeachment trial? That's the Senate. Describe the difference between hard money and soft money. Hard money goes directly to a specific candidate's campaign. It is strictly regulated by the FEC. Soft money goes towards what we call party-building activities. It's not a specific candidate, and the FEC does not regulate it. Why is it difficult for third parties to gain notoriety in the United States? In other words, why do we continue to have a two-party system? Well, that's the way it's always been. Why should people vote third party when they know that party will lose? Republicans and Democrats are in charge and have created elections so that it is difficult for third parties to have a chance. 24. What does PAC stand for, and what do they do? PAC stands for Political Action Committee. They are the political arms of interest groups. They raise money to support candidates that they agree with in elections. There are many PACs on both sides of the aisle. Number 25. What does FEC stand for, and what does it do? Federal Election Commission. It makes sure that political candidates are following election laws and rules. What was the decision in Citizens United v. FEC? The Supreme Court decided in a 5-4 decision that corporations should be able to donate to political campaigns. Not allowing corporations to do this was a violation of freedom of speech. 27. Are federal judges given lifetime appointments? Yes. 28. Which court has the most power? District courts, U.S. Court of Appeals, or Supreme Court of the United States? That's the Supreme Court. 29. What is the difference between judicial restraint and judicial activism? Judicial restraint is sticking close to the literal words of the Constitution, using stare decisis and precedent to inform future decisions. Judicial activism. The Constitution is a living document that should be interpreted differently depending on the time period. Number 30. What is judicial review? It is the ability of the Supreme Court to declare laws and executive orders unconstitutional. It is not mentioned in the Constitution, but confirmed in the early SCOTUS case, Marbury v. Madison. 31. What does it mean when SCOTUS issues a majority opinion? This is the official opinion of the court. It explains the court's reasoning for deciding what they did. It helps in deciding future cases about similar subjects. 32. What does it mean when SCOTUS issues a dissenting opinion? This is written by the justices who disagreed with the majority. It explains why they disagreed and could be used if the court ever decides to overturn its decision. Number 33. What are some arguments for and against the Electoral College? 4. It's what the framers wanted. The winner needs to appeal to people across a variety of states. And if government teachers didn't have to explain the Electoral College, they would be out of a job. Against. A candidate can win the popular vote but lose the election. Candidates have no incentive to visit states that they are guaranteed to lose, and smaller states have a disproportionately large amount of power. 34. Which article of the Constitution discusses the legislative branch? That's 1. 35. Which article discusses the executive branch? That's 2. Which article discusses the judicial branch? That's 3. The courts can check the president because judges serve for life, and therefore presidents only have a chance to appoint a few judges per term. And then Supreme Court can declare executive orders unconstitutional. Number 38. The president can check the courts by the president appoints the justices. 39. Congress can check on the courts by Congress can amend the Constitution, Congress can impeach judges, and Congress approves presidents support Supreme Court nominees. 40. Courts can check on Congress by declaring laws unconstitutional. 41. The president can check Congress by vetoing laws. 42. Congress can check the president by overriding vetoes with the 2/3 majority, impeaching the president, or rejecting presidential nominees for cabinets in SCOTUS. 43. Each state has 2 senators that serve a 6-year term. 44. A bill must be approved by Congress before being sent to the president. 45. General elections are held in which month, according to the Constitution? That's November. 46. Changes and additions to the Constitution are called amendments. 47. Federalism is national and state governments share power. 48. A president is limited to how many terms? That's 2 terms. The 22nd Amendment describes what? That limits the president to 2 terms. 50. The Constitution's parts in order are Preamble, Articles 1 through 7, the Bill of Rights, that's Amendments 1 through 10, and then the other amendments, that's Amendments 11 through 27. 51. In the U.S., the president is not directly elected by the people, but by the Electoral College. The legislative branch. 52. The legislative branch creates the law. The judicial branch interprets the law, and the executive branch executes the law. 55. If both the president and vice president were removed from office through the legal process, incapacitation, or death, who is next in line to be president? That's the Speaker of the House. The Bill of Rights refers to the first 10 amendments. The U.S. Congress is bicameral, not unicameral. 58. Who has final authority to approve justices to the Supreme Court? That's the Senate. How many amendments in the Constitution? 27. How many justices on the Supreme Court? 9. Who has power to declare war? Congress. The only court mentioned in the Constitution, the Supreme Court. 63. How many electoral votes does Missouri have? 10. 64. Who breaks ties in the Senate? That's the vice president. True or false? A bill vetoed by the president can still become law. That's true. 66. True or false? A bill must pass both houses of Congress before it is sent to the president. That's true. 67. True or false? The states with the biggest population receive the most representation in the Senate. That's false. 68. Everybody receives 2 votes, 2 people in the Senate. 68. True or false? The Speaker of the House is the most powerful member of the majority party in the House. That's true. 69. True or false? Supreme Court justices serve 4-year terms, like the president. That's false. And 70. True or false? It only takes 2/3 of states to ratify an amendment. That's false. It takes 3/4 of states.